I'm Josh, and this is Keith, and in this video we're going to teach you how to play the game Ravenfeast. Ravenfeast is a free skirmish war game that you and your friends can play with as few as a dozen figures per side. It's set during the Dark Ages, where you're a Viking or Saxon hero leading your band of warriors to glory.
Did Josh mention the rules are free? We developed Ravenfeast as a gateway game to bring new players into the hobby of historical miniature wargaming. You can go to our website and download the rules for free. You'll find a book that's professionally illustrated, laid out, and presented, as well as any set of rules commercially available for sale.
The core rules are just a few pages long, and right now we're going to teach you how to play. For this demonstration game, Keith and I are fielding identical warbands, each with a dozen figures. Every warband must be led by a Jarl, and this is your heroic leader. Then we have 3 Huskarls, representing heavily armored household veterans. We each have a Berserker, 3 Bowmen, and 4 spear-armed Bandi. Bandi are your basic low-level warriors. There are 1 or 2 additional unit types we aren't fielding in today's game, but Ravenfeast allows you to build your own warband. Each model has a point value, giving you the chance to recruit whatever style and mix of soldiers you want. Notice that each unit type has a few basic characteristics. Movement range is how far your model can move each turn. If the model is equipped with a bow or javelin, he has a missile rating and range. Every unit type has a melee rating, representing his effectiveness in close combat. There are also armor ratings and a morale score. You do have the ability to give your models a handful of special traits that we'll talk about later.
Alright, Josh and I have both of our warbands and we're ready to fight. In this battle, I'm trying to capture this longhouse. Ravenfeast includes 3 sample scenarios, but you're always welcome to use your imagination and set up your own. To play Ravenfeast, you'll need a tape measure, some 6-sided dice, and a few colored markers or tokens. We're using 28mm miniatures, but you can play with whatever models you have in any scale. Whether your figures are based on round or square bases doesn't matter either.
Each turn of the game has 6 phases. We start with initiative, then we rally any cowards who failed previous morale tests. Next is movement, then ranged missile fire, and melee. Finally, the end of the turn phase has some minor housekeeping to update unit statuses and remove casualties. Let's take you through turn and show you how it works.
Great. So first we start with rolling for initiative. We each take a 6-sided die, or D6, and we roll.
In Ravenfeast, you always want to roll low. I rolled a 3 and Keith rolled a 4. Both of us also subtract 1 because we have a leader alive. So my modified result of 2 is the low roll.
Josh has won the die roll and he will go first this turn. The second phase of the turn is rally, but since this is the beginning of the game, none of our models are fleeing. Yet.
No cowards in my warband yet, but if there was, it would be marked with a colored token. We like to use yellow for cowards. Because there's no cowards in my warband, we're going to skip the rally phase and move directly into movement. I'm going to move all my minis before Keith moves his. Movement in this game is very simple, and my infantry move up to 6 inches. Moving through rough ground or across obstacles like this stone wall slows you down a bit. As soon as I'm done moving, Keith gets to move all his minis as well. When movement is done, we continue to the missile phase, where any models armed with bows or javelins can shoot. Missile fire in Ravenfeast is all simultaneous, so Keith and I will be shooting at each other at the same time. I have a target well within my bowman range, and my Viking bowmen have a missile rating of 2, so I need to roll a 2 or less on a D6. Excellent, I scored a hit.
So the armor rating of my Viking bowman is a 2. So I need to roll a 2 or less to avoid taking an arrow to the gut.
Or the eye. I like to aim for the face.
Not this time. Watch. Oh, nice! Josh and I will continue exchanging fire until each missile-armed model with a target in range and line of sight has a chance to shoot. Then it's time for the next phase, melee.
So in this example, Keith and I have made contact with 2 of our models. One of my Bandi spearmen is engaged with his Berserker. This probably won't end well for me. Melee is also simultaneous, so our models will strike each other at the same time. My Bandi spearman has a melee rating of 2, so I'll need a 2 or less on a D6.
Now, my Viking Berserker has a melee rating of 4, which is good for me. Plus, being a Berserker, he also gets 2 attacks, so I get to roll 2d6.
Yeah, I told you this wouldn't end well for me.
1 hit.
Oh, 1 hit. Now that we've each scored a hit, we have to make an armor save. My Bandi spearman has an armor rating of 2.
And my Viking Berserker has an armor rating of 3. Nice!
I failed.
Nice.
So my Bondy Spearman failed his armor save, so he suffered a wound and will be marked with a blood token.
Perfect.
Once all the close combats are resolved, we continue to the last phase, the end of turn sequence. This is when wounded models are removed from play, and anyone who needs to take a morale test must do so. When testing morale, your leaders can lend their morale rating to nearby units. Passing a morale test is like anything else in Ravenfeast. You simply need to roll a d6 and score your morale rating or less.
That's it for the turn. We've taken you through each step and showed you the basic game mechanics. Ravenfeast is designed to be fast and easy to learn.
There are some fun details in the rules and tactical nuances we didn't cover in this introductory video. For example, your men can form up into a shield wall, the predominant tactical formation of the Dark Ages. Shield walls are slower to move, but improve your armor rating.
My favorite part of the game, though, is a little rule called Death Worthy of a Song. If you kill an opponent in combat by rolling a 1, and he rolls a 6, it's considered a spectacular strike, one worthy of a saga. Inflicting Death Worthy of a Song forces nearby enemies to roll a morale check because they witness such a blood-soaked, awe-inspiring wound.
The Ravenfeast rules are just a few pages long, and you can play an entire game from a single-sided quick reference sheet. Now that you watched our video, we recommend you go and download the copy of the rules right now.
Well, finish watching the video first.
This is a great game to introduce your friends, family, and new players to the hobby of historical miniature wargaming. And the book includes more than just the rules. There are sections on modeling and painting, so even if you've never painted a miniature in your life, we'll show you everything you need to know, start to finish. Consider Ravenfeast your free gateway guide into a new hobby.
And we want to be your guide, so even if you don't have a club to game with, we're here to help. We're supporting Ravenfeast with tons of bonus content, including beginner terrain tutorials, free scenarios, and optional rule expansions like Norse mythology. If you want to hunt down a frost giant, we have you covered.
Download your free copy of the game right now at ravenfeast.com.